It's time for The Drive with Q on Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game. Now, here's Q.
Good afternoon, everyone. 4 o'clock straight up on the East Coast. It is indeed a Thursday edition of The Drive with Q coming at you live inside the friendly compounds of the SR 1029 FM studio, Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Rich Quinones is here. Mi hermano Andrew Martinez behind the glass doing God's work today with a lot of production. He'll be joining me later on in the show. 2 hours to play with. We'll take up to 6 o'clock straight up on what has turned out to be a nasty 16th of January, 2025. As always, don't forget the 727-858-6650. That'll get you involved in two-way sports talk, bring something to the table, and it's good to be in the friendly confines of the SR 1029 FM studios because we are diving into a substantial amount of NFL talk today. As always, we are powered by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. Don't forget, 20% off your first purchase, BYP20. That's your promo code. Also, Zen Auto Concepts, the number one detailing shop in the state of Florida. And our very good friends over at Played Against Sports. Use sports equipment and more. 1450 Clements Bridge Road. And with that, we get set for the divisional round of the playoffs. And contrary to popular belief, a lot of people believe that the divisional round of the playoffs are the most exciting round of the playoffs. Now, I'll tell you this. I think that the divisional round is always fun, no doubt. I don't think it has the same juice as, say, Wild Card Weekend, but I think we got some really intriguing matchups. And I think we have fascinating matchups. And I love already this weekend. By the way, if you follow me now on X at RichQ, you get the show on multiple platforms, CSN, SR, RichQ on Q. So we appreciate that as well. Good little engagement, as we like to call it, in the business. So the divisional round matchups are going to be unique in this form. There are quarterbacks that we're going to look at, and I love the ranking system. I totally love, again, the ranking system. Because everyone loves to rank quarterbacks. Everyone loves to. I put them out there. 8 quarterbacks left. I posted a very simple question on Facebook that no one can get right. I mean, you guys are just throwing in your own friggin' quarterbacks. You're not even paying attention. Why do I even bother? Why? Why do I even bother to try to have the engagement? But I'll tell you, out of the quarterbacks right now that are left in the NFL, and I look at it like this. Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. Allen and Jackson. So if I'm going to rank them, and we're not talking about body of work, I'm talking about at this moment, forget about what they've done, what you believe they're going to do. Josh Allen is number 1. Lamar Jackson is number 2. Patty Mahomes is number 3. Jared Goff is number 4. Jaden Daniels is number 5. Stafford is 6. I have Hurts 7 and CJ Stroud 8 right now. And I know that's going to rub a lot of, again, Eagles fans the wrong. It's not to hate on Jalen Hurts. You guys heard me enough. You know, I back Jalen Hurts. I've been critical of Jalen Hurts, but I've also come out so many times and defended Jalen Hurts because people just don't like Jalen Hurts. They don't like his game. They don't like the fact he doesn't give you anything in the press conferences. You know, he's short, maybe the passive aggressive, has a little McNabb in there. Okay, fine. Be that as it may. But the 3 that I started with, Allen, Jackson, and Mahomes, those are your top 3 quarterbacks left. Now, if you want to start to go into the conversation, which quarterback has the most pressure on them, we can certainly have that conversation on this Thursday. We can certainly have this conversation because I believe they all do. But right now, I put Daniels ahead, CJ Stroud. I put Jaden Daniels, and maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment. I put Jaden Daniels ahead of Jalen Hurts. I put Jaden Daniels ahead of Stafford. And the only reason I'm not going to stick him ahead of Goff is because the season that Jared Goff has had. I mean, you're talking about these guys. We're talking about quarterbacks right now, right? We're talking about quarterbacks, ranking them, not excluding the body of work and where we're at right now with these guys. Where are we right now with these guys? And I'll tell you where we're at. We're looking at veteran guys. We're looking at young guns. We're looking at young signal callers, young, gunslingers out there who are trying to take the next step of their career. They're trying to present themselves in a certain way where they're out there saying, we can be a franchise quarterback. And the guys I've named, again, right now, we believe out of all the 8 that are left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are franchise quarterbacks. I think we believe they're all franchise quarterback. I'll tell you where people are still questioning, which, again, it's fascinating. Eagles fans are still questioning whether they believe Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback. They are. They are still questioning. There is this sentiment that Jalen Hurts is not a franchise quarterback. I think it's ludicrous. I think it's absolutely ludicrous because we talked about this ad nauseum, at length. His numbers don't have to be gaudy. His numbers do not have to be sexy. He goes out, as you guys have pointed out, and he just wins. That's all he does. Jalen Hurts wins football games. But I think there's a enormous amount of pressure on Jalen Hurts this weekend. I really do. And I also believe there are some quarterbacks you don't think, everyone's overlooking the Rams. Everyone's overlooking the Rams going into the link, bad weather, nasty weather, maybe snow. It's always fun when snow comes down. And they're saying to themselves, the Rams don't have a chance in hell against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't believe that's the case. And you're not going to tell me Matthew Stafford's not motivated to go and have an opportunity to go on the road and play Detroit, his former team that drafted him, that he had a lot of success with, put up a lot of yards, a lot of numbers, a lot of accolades, and go and stick it to him in the NFC Championship? You don't think CJ Stroud wants to dethrone Patrick Mahomes? You don't think Jaden Daniels wants to say, I've arrived? I mean, there's story. You got the MVP matchup, Allen and Lamar Jackson, which, by the way, we said we weren't going to make it, that type of debate. All these quarterbacks have something to prove for their respective franchises. All of them do. And again, it's so subjective when we rank them. I have fun with it, right? The top 3 we talked about, Allen, Jackson, Mahomes. I think Daniels is a budding star. I think Stafford is still a gunslinger. I think Jared Goff, I think he's, at times underrated. I really do. I think we look at Jared Goff and people are waiting for the other shoe to drop. They're not sold on Jared Goff. They're not. And again, I know what some of these talking heads said today. They Jaden Daniels is better than Jared Goff. Jaden Daniels is a young, rising star, again, in this league, right? But Jared Goff has put up some really monster numbers, man. And I think anytime you win 13, 14, 15 games, it's a shame he's not really going to be talked about when we discuss the MVP conversation in the NFL. I mean, it's just always going to be Jaden Daniels right now going into this game, and he's the rising star. Forget about Jared Goff. Jared Goff is a hell of a quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. And I'm not trying to put the kibosh on anyone like I did with Sam Darnold. I'm not. But I think he's an exceptional quarterback, and I believe he hasn't really been given his just due. I think people wrote him off years ago. They said, this guy can't play anymore, change of scenery, and here we go. Because all this week, between the Lions and Washington, the talk is going to be Jaden Daniels, right? I mean, Jared Goff, the Lions know they're going up against a star in the making. You're talking about a Heisman Trophy winner. You're talking about a quarterback that hasn't shown any signs of being green in the NFL. And that's why you got a veteran in Jared Goff that's going to speak glowingly of Jaden Daniels. But again, it's not Goff versus Daniels. It's Washington versus Detroit. And the Detroit Lions have a very good offense. They have a potent offense. This game, to me, might be the most highest scoring game we've ever seen in a divisional matchup, in a divisional round. I think this game, it could be goofy. I really do. I mean, you might get a 35-33 type of game. The total is 56.5. The line's still sitting at 9.5. The Commanders are going to have to score 28 points in this game. And we know about the Lions' deficiencies with their defense and their injuries in the secondary. But there's pressure on Jared Goff. Like, can you lift that franchise? Can you take it to where it needs to go? Get him to the NFC Championship. Get him back to the NFC Championship. Win it. Get to the Super Bowl. You know, the Rams, maybe the last hurrah with Matthew Stafford. You know, Jalen Hurts, again, the enigma. Which Jalen Hurts is going to go up Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? And then, of course, you've got Allen and Jackson, and we know what they're bringing to the table. And then on Saturday, 4:30, you have the young gunslinger 17 new team that championships. Or the but that's the name of the game. That's why you're marks surrounding backs. Sure. You know, Josh Allen needs to get the Bills over the hump. Lamar Jackson must get Baltimore over to an AFC championship. That's getting to an AFC championship and winning it. Regular season wins are fantastic. We love regular season wins. There's a lot of quarterbacks that have won a lot of regular season games throughout the course of their career. But we're judged, the quarterbacking play, yes, wins and losses, but you're also judged in January. You're judged in January. You know, if you're 4-5, 5-4, you know, give me an 8-2, 8-3, 9-1, 10-1, 12-3. I know you're going deep. I know you're going far. I know you have an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl, maybe even win it. And I think for these quarterbacks that are left, you know, CJ Stroud still is a young quarterback. CJ Stroud is a young quarterback. He's going to try to figure it out. It might take a little bit of time. He might struggle against Kansas City. It doesn't mean he's any less of a quarterback, and maybe they'll have some questions that need to be answered in the offseason. But he seems to, you know, define what we're looking for when we talk about franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts, we know the body of work. Jalen Hurts has done it. He's been there before. Jalen Hurts needs to get over the hump. All these quarterbacks have something to prove. Even Matthew Stafford, because the Rams went out and they bought themselves a Super Bowl winning team a couple of years ago. And they sold their soul. And now look at you, right? I mean, I don't think they're a juggernaut, but I give them a puncher's chance. I give Washington a puncher's chance. Baltimore and Buffalo, just sit back and enjoy it. Houston Texans are going to have to play above and beyond. They're really going to have to play their A game to beat Kansas City. But every single solitary quarterback at this point, they led their team. This is no more house money. This is put up or shut up time in the NFL, man. This is where you make your bones. Are you good enough? Can you lift your teammates around you? Are you good enough to take that next step? Are you talented enough? Are you poised enough? We've seen it with some of these quarterbacks. Stafford has won. Patrick Mahomes has won. None of these other quarterbacks have won. You know, regular season, playoff wins, accolades, awards, stats, great. but you're measured in January. Can I get you guys to the next level? Can I help you get over the hump? Can we exercise the demons? That's questions that Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts are going to have to answer. Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud, your careers are just starting. You have a little bit of time. You have a little more wiggle room. Holmes, been there, done it. Stafford, been there, done it. For Mahomes, it's now all about legacy. It's all about legacy. You go out and you get back, okay? Get back to another Super Bowl. You win it again this year. You go back to back to back. Mount Rushmore, here we go. You have Kansas City go back again next year and win 4 straight. That's just, it's over. Conversation, debate, bar talk, done. It's done. Absolutely done. We're not even going to have that conversation anymore. 727-858-6650. I'm going to go out on a limb, say next year is Stroud's final shot at being considered a good quarterback. So the patience might be wearing thin. Now, are we going to have that same conversation? Have we seen enough from Jaden Daniels already to say that Jaden Daniels is a franchise quarterback? Have we? And I apologize, we were late jumping on board today, and we definitely did top you off. We had fresh roasted coffee on a Thursday. CJ Stroud's still a young quarterback, man. He's a young quarterback. I feel as though we rush to judgment. We want to pigeonhole these guys right away. We have to have patience. That's all I'm saying. Have to have patience. So how are you ranking these guys? Which quarterback has the most pressure under the microscope come this weekend? 17 past 4 o'clock hour, just cranking it up on a Thursday edition of The Drive with Q, coming at you inside the friendly confines of the Sports Radio 102.9 FM studios, Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Rich Quinones here. Angel Martinez will join me sometime in the 5 o'clock hour, but you guys are going to carry us through 727-858-6650. That'll get you involved. A lot of NFL talk. We'll get you caught up to speed on what's going on with some of these head coaching carousels, some of these rumors. I also want to get your thoughts, pros and cons on the Rooney Rule. Is it time to just get rid of the Rooney Rule? And you would be shocked at some of the new names that are emerging for some of these head coaching jobs. I'm shocked. You're shocked. And there's a couple really interesting ones, because if your team was looking for a coach, and you saw some of these reports now coming out about some of these, coaches and some of these coordinators that were maybe looking to draft somebody else last year or start somebody else, you might just reserve judgment. You might just take a step back a little bit and say, whoa. I'm kind of glad we didn't hire this guy. So we'll lock it in. We'll take up to 6. We'll mix in a little NBA, another loss by the 76ers against the Knicks last night, but we got you covered on the hardwood. We'll give you some plays. We want to break down a little college football national championship game on Monday, divisional matchups in the NFL. We will dive into that as well. Get in on the conversation as always, 727-858-6650. You see it right there. Connect with us on social media at RichQ on Q. Quick timeout. We will certainly come back on the other side.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't forget to get social with us. Follow Q at Rich Q on Q. And now, back to Q.
It's locked in. Now, the microphone and the the mute button was definitely off, but the Death Star mic is not falling. All right. You guys are killing me today already. I'm fixing a microphone, and I know right now I'm probably going to get a text from Angel, who's on the road. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? Play ball in your own time. Let me get to some of these comments. 727-858-6650. If he has a bad year next year, long mid-career slump, then a Geno-like resurgence, I'm going to assume you're talking about CJ Stroud. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think CJ Stroud's a good quarterback. I think you have a good head coach in place. Obviously, they got hit with some injuries. What happens is you burst onto the scene and you have a really nice first year. And that's exactly what happened with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud threw for 23 touchdowns and only 5 picks last year. He also threw for over 4,000 yards. Difference this season is that the offensive line has not protected CJ Stroud. Now, I'm not making excuses, but the kid's been sacked 52 times. So let's have a little patience. Maybe you're not sold on him, and that's fine. Maybe you're not sold on him. Jaden Daniels, I'm sold on. I was sold on Jaden Daniels in college. I love what he's doing with Washington. It's one of the reasons that I thought Washington was going to vie for the NFC East. It's one of the reasons that I backed my play and predicted Washington to make the playoffs. And it's also one of my reasons that I believe Washington is going to give Detroit a big-time test. This is not a gimme game for the Detroit Lions, man. Listen, if you are a 14 or 15 win team, if you have the number 1 seed in the NFL playoffs, your ass better host a championship game. If Kansas City loses, it'll be considered one of the worst losses in franchise history because of what they're trying to achieve, where they're trying to go, to get back to the Super Bowl, to have an opportunity to win it for a 3rd straight season. If you're the Lions and you lose to Washington, that's a horrible loss. And this is not a knock or disrespect to the Washington Commanders. I am not disrespecting the Washington Commanders at all. I'm just being honest. It's more of an indictment on the Lions and the fact that they can't exercise their demons. They can't get over the hump, and that is a problem. Sam on Twitter chimes in, Q, good start to the show. I don't think any quarterback really is going to be, quote, under the microscope with pressure. I think they all have something to prove. Side note, as a Cowboys fan, what do you think is going to happen with Dak, and where do you believe Sanders is going to be next year? I believe quarterbacks they have pressure. I do. I believe these quarterbacks, you're the face of the franchise. There's a lot of money back. There's a lot of money invested in you, and your job is to lead. So in that regard, Sam, there's pressure. as far as Dak, Dallas Cowboys have some major, major questions that need to be answered in the offseason because they don't have a head coach. And there's buzz now really starting to grow that Dion and the Cowboys are very serious. And I know the Cowboys put in a request to interview Kellen Moore, which if you listen to the show the past couple of days, it makes sense. You want to get someone in the building that has familiarity. But this, Deion Sanders to Dallas, now there's this thought that he would absolutely, almost certainly accept a head coaching gig with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you want to speculate, if you want to assume, okay. Apparently, there's a lot of people pushing Dion. If it's there for you, take it. Me, quite frankly, I don't think it's the route the Dallas Cowboys should go. I don't. I just don't think that would be the smart thing to do. It's his ego is so massive that Jerry Jones will not allow him to just basically have carte blanche and make all the decisions. He just won't. And I'm sure there's mutual interest. I'm sure there's a flirtation going on. I'm sure there's mutual respect. There's an adoration and a love for each other. I understand all that. I understand that. But I also believe Jerry Jones saw the other shoe to drop when Mike Rabel took the job with New England. And now Jerry Jones, it's almost after the fact. You fire Mike McCarthy, and now potentially you're running out of options. Like the question you guys should be asking, it's not, does Dion want to take the Dallas Cowboys job? It's, besides Dion, is the Dallas Cowboys job an appeasing spot? Is it an appeasing landing spot? Is it a sexy destination right now? Right? And listen, Deion Sanders, we know he has the ties with the Dallas Cowboys. He played 5 seasons with the Cowboys. He was one of the biggest stars on their last Super Bowl winning team, which came all the way back in 1995. And Colorado's probably thinking, we're about to lose this guy, which leads me to this. Because Kevin in North Jersey just asked on Facebook, and all he wrote is one word. Well, 2, the hoodie. Exactly. Which leads me to this now. If these reports are true, that Bill Belichick, and let's be clear here, because we're about to go down the rabbit hole. Bill Belichick's, this is from On3, Bill Belichick's contract at North Carolina is still unsigned. What does that tell you? Why is that contract not signed by now? Why is it not signed? Are they questioning the buyout? He's got a term sheet proposal, but whether breaking that would be difficult is a legal gray area. I think now you let the speculation and the rumors fly. Let the speculation. Would Belichick even consider the Cowboys job? Would Belichick consider the Raiders opening, knowing that Brady's there? If the Cowboys are smart, if they can make a run at Belichick, I make a run at Belichick before I make a run at Deion Sanders. I would actually go Belichick, Kellen Moore, then Deion Sanders in that order. Belichick's been there, done it, proven winner. Kellen Moore's familiarity with the franchise inside and out. He has a very good relationship with Dak Prescott. Deion's too far removed from the game. Now, I'm not saying he can't coach, but you're going from kids to adults, ego to ego. Jerry Jones can turn around and say, Bill, do what you need to do. Or he can turn around a more submissive shot caller in Moore. And take that hands-off approach, but still kind of be over his shoulder. And I think it's fascinating right now that Belichick and that contract is not inked. I really do. I don't believe not enough people are talking about it because that still opens up the door for some head coach. And listen, I'm not going to say the Jets. I'm not going to say the Jets. I'm not going to say that. But the Raiders, the Cowboys, hey man, it's out there. It is out there. 4:30, halfway through hour number 1 on a Thursday edition of The Drive with Q. 727-858-6650. Making an appearance on this Thursday, our incredible shrinking Hermano. I'm glad that I was able to fix the audio, because that was me just basically having the microphone on mute. I see Angel. I don't hear him. He's frozen in time right now. See, Angel's in his own friggin' world right now. I don't know if he's got the soup, if he's putting the thumbs up, he's giving me the middle finger. He's probably going to make the transition where all of a sudden Angel is right next to me on the right, as he should be. Or he's just basically dicking around back there. I have absolutely no idea what he is doing on a Thursday. But Angel Martinez is about to make an appearance because he's doing God's work. What's going on? I still can't hear you. Holy shit. You want me to just keep talking? I'm not refreshing. My show, not refreshing. I'm going to keep talking. That's fine. I'll keep talking. Yeah, look what he's doing right now. It's almost as though he's doing like some form of like the sign language, or when they do the national anthem. He's buying some time right now. While he's buying some time, Joe D, Summers Point chiming in Q. There's absolutely no way that Belichick voids out and gets out of that contract and goes back to the NFL. You're crazy. All right. That's what you think. Contract's not signed. It's not signed. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Angel is doing the Lord's work. I mean, what Angel needs to do is figure out what the hell's going on with his microphone. I mean, he's there. I see him. I've seen him. He had a suit, and now he's refreshing. When he's ready to come up, he'll come up and we'll wait for him. That's not a problem. Let me get to a couple more. Lane over in Philly chimes in. Q, you got to be smoking and joking, as you like to say. There's absolutely no way the hoodie would even consider the Jets coaching job. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm just going to say I think it's very interesting, to say the least. That's just my take. I think here's a phrase that I say to Angel a lot. There's a method to the madness. And I think right now there's a method to Belichick's madness. When you're a guy like Belichick, or, a guy like Jerry Jones, guys that are, and we'll get Angel in a second, guys that are very methodical in their approach, very deliberate in their approach. They know exactly what they're doing. The devil is always in the details. The devil is always on the details. He can get out at any moment. That contract's not signed. So it's like, imagine now you and the missus, you and your spouse are getting ready. You're going to go and you're thinking about buying a house. And you're going your house shopping. You love the house. You want to put a down payment down on the house. They give you the paperwork and you walk out, you shake hands, but there's no ink. There's no signature. It's not your house. It's not your house.
It's never your house.
What's that?
It's never your house.
But point being is that in this case, yes, it's never your house. It's always like with the mortgage and the lien and the bank and whatnot, unless you pay cash and you build from ground one, blah, blah, blah. In this case, with Belichick, there's no signature. So right now it's you can wipe your you-know-what with that contract. And I'm starting to believe now, if you really read the room with this, that and again, this is going to be very far-fetched. And I'm going to get hammered for saying this, and that's fine. I'll throw it to you guys. Is it possible that Belichick is using this opportunity to leverage himself back to the NFL? Because these coaches, a guy like Belichick has every conceivable content or contact in his phone. They have their ear to the street. They know exactly what's going on. So he's reading the room: New England, New York, Dallas, Vegas. Is it just possible that maybe he decided it's a crapshoot, but I'm going to be methodical in my approach, and I'm really taking a high risk to reward here. But part of me thinks, even if I take this job, I don't sign a contract, I create what? I create buzz. I create buzz. And you know what I also create for all those sales and branding and marketing people out there? My friggin' call to action. What's your call to action? How are you going to get people to buy your friggin' product? Well, I'm friggin' Bill Belichick. I win. Everywhere I go, I've won friggin' Super Bowls. I'm the Mount Rushmore. I'm the friggin' hoodie. I call my own shots. Hey, North Carolina wants to hire me. That's great. Well, wait a second. This guy's going back to college? This guy's going to college? Ha! No, we want him. So now all of a sudden, the head coaching dominoes start to fall. Am I totally off base with that thought, Angel?
No, not at all. Plus, you figure what's the buyout? It was like $1 million or whatever it was. It was like something dirt cheap.
Yeah.
So why not? I mean, I would hate to think, and now granted, everybody knows his son's going to be taking over once Bill's done with his contract at UNC. But I think at the same time too, his son is there with him now. And if some NFL team really wants him to come back, they're going to throw everything minus the bottom kitchen sink, the one that's in the basement for those who are not here in Florida. But they're going to throw everything at him. And it's up to him whether he really wants to, hang around and see what kids he can recruit at UNC. So therefore, he leaves something structured for his son, or he just tells his son, listen, you got about 2 weeks to learn as much as you possibly can because I'm out. One of the two. But the problem is who's going to pay the ultimate price. Jacksonville obviously is keeping their GM. Everybody knows that the only way he wanted to come back to the NFL is that he basically had full autonomy on everything. And the only people I could possibly see doing something like that would be what? Maybe the Raiders. And that's only because Tom Brady, if he gets more involved this offseason with the team, then yeah, he would probably make a big push for Bill. And then it's the matter of how much you're going to pay him, who he's going to bring. That would be, I think, priority number one would be the Raiders. I don't know if the Bears would want to reach out to him. Supposedly Brian Flores is the one, or Mike McCarthy. Those two are the top leading candidates for Chicago. So there's teams that are going to want his services. The problem is, how much are you willing to give up to make it like he was in New England? But at the end of his term in New England, it didn't work out that well for him. So how much are teams willing to risk to see if it's the Belichick of old, or is it the Belichick of the 26-year-old?
Listen, I think the best thing for Belichick was taking the time off, right? Taking the time off. We get to see a little more of your personality, doing the different shows, doing podcasts, breaking down film, dating a younger girl, the old adage that Mickey said in Rocky, like the women weaken legs. Well, now he's fried like a spring chicken, like a young spring chicken, right? He's got a little juice, right? Yeah. A little pep to his step. He knows exactly what he's doing. And the fact that his contract is not signed yet with University of North Carolina tells me at this moment, he is looking to come back in the NFL. He is looking to come. It is simply leverage and a ploy. And if he signs it, he can still get out of it. That's the other thing. See, it's all about the domino effect and all these shoes that, are going to drop. I mean, you don't need to be a genius here to kind of figure out he's playing chess right now.
Right.
Angel, you don't get to that point of the highest level of your profession without sidestepping a couple things, right? Without, some shortcuts, but you don't get to that point without having this like, I know 26 steps ahead of what I'm going to do and you don't. And that's exactly who he is. That's why do you think he didn't give you anything during press conferences? It's just who he is. He knows in the back of his mind. He plays the media. He's playing the talking heads. He might be playing UNC right now. He might have said all the right things, and here we go, the hoodie to college, put him on the map, NIL, transfer portal. In the back of his mind, he's like, this is exactly what I want, because this shows me now people still want me. That's how I look at this.
True.
I believe that if this contract, if it's not inked, if it's not solidified, like if there's no clarity within another week or so, the buzz will grow even more. And then you have to turn it on. If you're North Carolina, you're like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you dicking around here? Why have you not signed this contract yet? Like, we're ready to go. Like, he's starting to bring in all his people. There was, I think, Mike Florio, who I'm not the biggest fan of. Mike Florio, because, back in the day, a lot of rip and read with Mike Florio, right, with the content. But he was talking about how UNC is getting a little, they're moving slowly. And Mike Lombardi, who's tight with Belichick, who he just hired, and Lombardi was a former GM in the National Football League. Lombardi, an Ocean City, New Jersey guy. Lombardi was with Wiesen for years. Lombardi's also the same one that claimed Doug Peterson was a horrible hire for the Philadelphia Eagles. But Mike Florio basically came out and said that UNC starting to get a little worried because Belichick is moving slowly at North Carolina. So again, read the room. Well, why is that? Is it possible because everything is really setting up for him to basically just leave North Carolina at the altar and then go back to the X, go back to the NFL? And now you look at these head coaching. He has an affinity for the Giants. We know that. He has an affinity for the Bears too, because Bill Belichick knows the history of the NFL. You can sit there and ask Bill Belichick a question about 1978 special teams on the Tampa Bay Bucks, and he'll go off for 25 minutes. He's a historian. He's a savant of the game. So he understands the history of Hallis and the Bears. He already knows about the Star and the Dallas Cowboys. And oh, by the way, who did he coach for so many years in New England? Tom Brady, who's now what? Has part stake and ownership with the Raiders. It just, to me, it makes too much sense, man. That's why I was never sold. And you remember, I came on the air and I'm like, just because he's saying he's going back, I'll believe it when I see it. And thus far, not signing the contract tells us that we haven't seen it yet.
Yep.
And it's a ploy. I mean, listen, the buzz is there now.
It is.
The buzz is there. And if you're the Dallas Cowboys, I steer clear. I steer clear of Deion Sanders. I really do. I think the ego is too massive. And listen, Belichick's ego is massive. Don't get it twisted. But if you're comparing resumes, Belichick, Deion, Belichick, Deion.
Yeah, I wouldn't. There's now, would Dallas? I don't know, because Jerry Jones, you never know what you're going to get with him either. He would probably get.
Go ahead.
Let me think. Because if he's going to go to the Raiders, which Tom Brady, I'm pretty sure would love to have him over there. Once again, you have to give up a lot. Is Jerry Jones willing to give up his GM spot to be able to do so? And then you have Kellen Moore, who was granted the okay to interview for the head coaching spot out there in Dallas. Now, I would like for Kellen Moore to stay in Philly because I think he's a good offensive coordinator. And who knows, he could probably be a good head coach. I think he'd be younger than Sean McVay coming in if he were to get hired by Dallas. But is Jerry Jones willing to throw everything at Belichick to bring him to Dallas to get him back to where they used to be? And I don't think it's going to be something immediate. I think it's still going to take a couple of years for Dallas to get back to where they were before. And then again, if it's his resurrection at 2.0, is he going to get back to where he was? It's just, it's a lot of unknowns, but it's just teams still have to give up a lot for Belichick. And is he, I didn't think he was fully convinced that he wanted to be at the college level, but the job was offered to him for $20 million plus, and that's not even including any kind of incentives and bonuses for his services as well. But again, you're only walking away paying $1 million fine if you choose to go back to the NFL. And how hungry is he really to get back there?
I think he is, because Belichick wants to pass Shula.
Yeah.
He wants to break the all-time wins record. He does. And because the Patriots already had their coach, he wasn't going back to the Patriots, obviously, but all these rumor mills coming out, this head coaching carousel, right? The rumors in the NFL with some of these guys, and we're talking some of these retreads,
Right.
right? We're talking about some of these retreads. So now, Aaron Glenn, not a retread, basically coming out and saying, I don't care if you look at me like a defensive coordinator. I can be a head coach. I can be a head coach in the NFL, right? You got Kellen Moore. All right, here you go. Interview. Robert Salah's interviewing. Brian Flores' name. He's out there. Teams need coaching. Teams need to hire a coach now. The draft is right around the corner. It's right. Steve Sarkisian, his name's been linked to some coaching opportunities. Robert Saleh is going to interview with the Raiders. I mean, it's all over the place. And then, here's another thing with somebody's free agent to be. What's going to go on with Darnold in Minnesota? You don't think that's going to make a decision if someone's looking to take a spot or a head coach? They need to know, do I have a quarterback in place? Am I going to be able to go after this quarterback before I come in? What's the roster look like? Where's our draft status? What's our cap status? Who's the GM? There's so much going on. And that's why I think if you're Belichick and you took this job, you verbally agreed, and you're taking your good old time like slow as molasses, that's because you're waiting to see what other if the Raiders hire someone today, the Bears hire someone today, and Dallas hires someone today, Belichick's going to sign that contract. Belichick's going to sign the contract. Belichick's not going to coach Jacksonville. I think there's 2 possible 3 landing spots for Bill Belichick.
Now, here's an interesting take too, and this came from Mia O'Brien, where she was saying that if Jacksonville doesn't become an attractive destination,
yep,
would Shad Khan turn around and say, okay, you know what? Since apparently no one likes the GM, maybe I need to revisit that and say, all right, I got to let you go because I need to have a winning product.
Okay, good. You bring up an interesting point. The fact that he went on that Zoom call right in front of Trent Baalke and in so many words told him, you're not doing your job, and a head coach comes in and offers some, sound advice to get rid of you, I would consider, to paraphrase, right? And I know Mia's, she does a great job covering the Jags. Jacksonville is intriguing for Belichick if the owner knows exactly what he's doing. Meaning, Jacksonville is pretty much, they're expected to clean house, right?
Yeah.
The problem is they got rid of Doug. They got rid of David Caldwell. And, Caldwell was fired in 2020. Trent Baalke occupied that role since he was fired. You've got, an owner that has a substantial amount of money, but the problem is it's not a stable organization. It's not. And they were supposed to contend in a piss poor AFC South. I'm sorry. I mean, you had skill players. You had a tight end in Ingram. You had a running back in ETN. You had a stud wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. They limped. They finished 2-9 right after the bye. They should have got rid of Doug Peterson when they were in London.
Yeah.
Right? And they didn't, and he got fired. So here you go. So now let's take Jacksonville off the board because I don't think it's a very stable organization. Then you go to the Dallas Cowboys. And everyone thought that Jerry Jones was going to fire Mike McCarthy last January. He didn't do it after they no-showed against Green Bay Packers and the defense went south. So he makes the move. We pretty much have documented Dallas, Jerry Jones, open up the checkbook, get the hell out of the way, instant credibility, back to the star. Okay. Tampa Bay didn't move on from their head coach. A lot of people thought there was a rumor going on that the Glazer family really loves Belichick. And if Tampa Bay got bounced earlier, didn't make the playoffs, it was more of a try to force Bowles out and open up the door to Belichick. Well, Todd Bowles is still the coach. So you get rid of Tampa Bay. Now we're just talking about the vacancies out there, right? But I wanted to make that point with Glazer and the Belichick connection. So now you have the Bears. The Bears, to me, you've got a young quarterback. You've got some weapons. I'd have to check their cap situation. But the Bears seem like this, if Soldier Field, the Bears, December, the hoodies out there, sleeves. Like, it just makes sense, right? It makes sense. You got a young quarterback, you bring in your coordinators, and here you go. The Jets would be hilarious because it's the Jets. And then you have the ties with Belichick to Brady and the Raiders. And that would make a lot of sense if they had a legit quarterback. Like, I think if you're Belichick, and even if if you're not going to go with UNC, let's just say we're not even having this University of North Carolina football discussion. Belichick wants to come into a situation where at this point of his career, you don't want to do the heavy lifting anymore. You want to bring, you want to hire guys that are your guys. You want to bring in a sound coaching staff. You want to build a roster. And, the Raiders, they've got some players, but that's a disgruntled franchise. That's a renegade franchise. It's just, you don't know what you're going to get. They thought Pierce was going to be the answer. He's obviously not the answer. They don't have a quarterback. Minshew didn't work out. O'Connell didn't work out. They need a quarterback. Now, again, this is all contingent on if Belichick really is just using UNC as leverage to try to get back to the NFL. So, in short, the landing spots, I would say, in a perfect world, if he was still out there, Belichick as a free agent, Chicago, the Raiders, Dallas. I gave you the pros. I gave you the cons. I'm not ready to even say Jacksonville because I just think that's just a very unstable organization. The Saints, no. I mean, who else am I missing?
No, unless
What are these other job openings? What am I missing here?
well, okay. And again, it'd be a far stretch whether if Tampa Bay decides to move on from Todd Bowles. It doesn't seem like it at the moment.
They would have done it by now, Angel, but go ahead.
So let's just say, again, let's make it a 15% shot. And it's probably not even up that high. Or would the Miami Dolphins think about like, well, we're definitely not going to go anywhere with Mike McDaniels. And do we let Mike McDaniels go?
Well, why would you say that? Tua's been hurt. You don't think McDaniels is a good head coach?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
He just reminds me of the guy you hang out with, and then he has some football knowledge, but it's more like, so Mike, what do you want to do today? I got to coach this thing. I'll be back though. And just fire up the doobie when we get ready. And
he doesn't, yeah, but, can we talk about Bowles' leadership? It's pretty much, got to be honest here. It's struggled to find some consistency, has it not?
Well, yeah, and that's why I've said it even from last season to this season. The same thing with Gaslam guy. We've been talking about it the whole entire time. I know that Jay likes, Todd Bowles, and he is a very nice guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bringing down Todd Bowles as a person.
No, it has nothing to do with personal. No,
right,
not at all.
As a coach, to me, he really shouldn't be leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers anymore. I understand he got the nod, resurrect his career, but you're back in the same place. Once again, early out from the playoffs. And so how many years are you going to go by if you're Tampa and you're hanging around and you're saying, well, this draft year, we're going to do things better. We're going to get ourselves a good veteran, whatever, running back, wide receiver, QB, whatever the case may be. Next season turns out to be the same. So are you going to do a Matt Eberflus just because you're doing a winning side of the record, but you're having the same results?
The offense played well this year. The offense really, they exceeded the expectations. The offense played well.
Yeah, well, that's thanks to Liam Cohen.
Right, but the defense, which is, that's Todd Bowles' staple, did not. But again, if they were going to make a move, they would have done it by now. I just find the whole Belichick not signing this contract, and again, perhaps I'm reading too much into it. From a legality standpoint, the devil's in the details. But look around. The Jets need a head coach. I mean, we don't even know. Honestly, Cleveland might decide tomorrow to make a change. We don't know, right? Jacksonville needs a head coach. Tennessee, the Raiders, the Cowboys, Chicago, the Saints.
I know we haven't mentioned it as much, but would Robert Salah be a good fit either, let's just say, with Jacksonville and or the Titans?
No, I don't think he's a very good head coach. I don't. I think he's a good defensive coordinator. He came in rah-rah with the Jets, fist pumping. You saw him. Ask any 49er fan, right?
Yeah.
Ask any 49er fan. They loved Robert Salah, on the sideline, getting fired up. The guy's jacked. Here we go. Had the Jets press conference. We're going to run through walls, this and that. The defense. He's just overwhelmed. I mean, I hate to say, a really nice guy. And the fact that, he turned around, he was giving information to a former radio host in New York was never a good thing. And then the radio host turns around and does a guest spot and talks about, what the coach tells him. You're not telling a fan that. The guy was retired from the mic. You're not telling a fan that anymore, right? He goes and tells Beningo all this stuff. He goes on WFAN. It makes, Robert Saleh look like a jackass. Like, you can't divulge that information. You have to have a little tact. And quite frankly, he lost that locker room. And then the whole Aaron Rodgers, Hackett, no Hackett. The Jets should have fired him and Douglas after last season.
Right.
And after they fired Douglas, you knew Robert Salah was going to be next, or Robert Salah early and then Douglas, however panned out this season. But it was a disaster. I just don't think he's a very good head coach. I think he could be a good defensive coordinator, but I'm not really fond of him as a head coach. Let me just read this real quick. So Scotty's a Bears fan. He goes, Q, you haven't even mentioned some of these coordinators out there. Ben Johnson, Cliff Kingsbury, Aaron Glenn, Joe Brady, Brian Flores. Those are guys I would take a flyer on. So interesting. Tomorrow, we're hoping we have Lake Lewis on. Lake Lewis covers the Washington Commanders. Lake Lewis has done a fascinating job over the last 15 plus years covering the NFL. He had a very interesting take regarding Ben Johnson. So for everyone that was, high on Ben Johnson, apparently, Lake talked about, he mentioned this on his pod, or I guess he did a guest spot, that last year, and I want to be accurate with this, so let me just pull it up. Bear with me for one moment. So this was, and I'll find it. Ben Johnson basically wanted Sam Howell to be the starting quarterback. And they had an opportunity. They were basically going to take the interview, and they turned the plane around because Washington was like, absolutely not. I mean, which, they knew they needed to draft a quarterback. So that tells you right there, okay, hold on a second. Am I, am I a good talent evaluator? See, you can be a really good head coach, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're a great talent evaluator. You can be a really good coordinator, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a really good head coach. So that to me is a little bit of a red flag. I mean, you have to read the room, and you're thinking to yourself, whoa, 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 whoa. We're going to go with Hal? No, absolutely not. And that's a problem, man. That is a big time problem when you have some of these coordinators and they don't have an eye for talent. They're good at being a coordinator,
Right.
but they don't have an eye for talent. And you have to have input if you're a head coach, because you got to give that input to the GM, right? Because it is their call ultimately. So that would worry me a little bit. I still like Ben Johnson as a coordinator. I really do. I don't think Ben Johnson going to the Raiders now is a sure thing. I know that, the Bears were interested in Ben Johnson. I know Caleb Williams wants a offensive minded guy. Obviously, Ben Johnson did a wonderful job with the Lions and their offense. So you got to be careful, man. I'm telling you, man, when you're, okay. So let me get back to Ben Johnson for a second. And I know it's 5:00. We got to take a time out. We'll get to the comments. So this is exactly what was discussed, that Lake discussed. Johnson was heavily linked to the Commander's job, in addition to other open roles in the offseason. Okay. So certain things transpired, and Angel, he wound up staying, as we know, with the Lions in 2024.
Right.
So the Commanders were courting Ben Johnson, and the story of how their front office made a decision to look elsewhere after discovering one sticking point in an interview. I think it was a virtual interview. Lake will tell the story. Apparently, there seems to be a point of contention where they were talking about the offense, and they were going through the hiring cycle, and they were talking about the success of this Lions offense, and Ben Johnson wanted Sam Howell to be the team's quarterback, in which GM Adam Peters told Johnson he was drafting a quarterback. Adam Peters, the GM, made the decision to turn the plane around, canceling the interview. So think about that. So in the conversation with Johnson, it was brought up that you want Sam Howell, not the quarterback of the future. That's the quarterback. He said, give us the quarterback you want for your offense. It's Sam Howell. Because, there's a connection and all this other stuff. So then Adam Peters was like, no. We're not doing that. We didn't want him. So if anyone should be upset, here you go. It should be Jaden Daniels. I'm not buying that. I think it's a bad eye for talent. And that's the problem I would have. That's all. Without roundabout, and I apologize, does that make sense?
Yeah. It does.
And I think sometimes when that comes to light, or like Eric Bieniemy not being a good interviewer, not being able to understand the interviewing process or not answering the questions the way GMs or ownership groups want them to answer it, now all of a sudden your reputation starts to precede you. So when a story's, Lake's a pretty credible guy. When a story's leaked like that, that does not shed a very good light on you. 727-858-6650. All right. What are the people saying on this Thursday, Angel?
Oh, let's see how far back, because
well, the man just dominated the first 25 minutes of the show. So I don't even know where he is. Yeah. I don't, listen, I had an issue with the mic. We can start with Jay's comment where he says, I'm very correct on.
Go back to this one here.
I don't even know what it says.
It says, I will go out on a limb and say next year is Stroud's final shot at being considered a good quarterback. Excuse me. My apologies. A good QB. I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I made my point about that. Let's go to the positive stuff that's shedding light on, the work that we're doing here. Like Jay, for instance, agreeing with me. You doing God's work.
Listen, I have to be all over the place. It's one of those things. And Joey B, yes, it's rare that I wear any kind of hoodie whatsoever. And no, I'm not going angle on you guys because I'm not upset. 49 degrees here in the Tampa region, but it's not even that. It's just I had to do crap outside, and the winds are a killer here today. And so after a while, the short sleeves, you start getting a little burr, and that's why you have to throw it up there. So it's going to be that way. Then Joey B says, Eagles 27, Rams 12. No way the Eagles lose to a California team in the snow, wind, cold. Plus Rams players going through a lot of the off-field issues with the fires. Eagles win lock of the week. I'm not even worried about. See, the wind, the snow, it doesn't matter to me anymore.
Yeah. Well, come on. You guys were saying the same thing on Monday night, right? And a lot of the listeners chimed in that the Rams, the emotional lift is going to get the Rams through. Their defense dominated. Their defensive line dominated the Minnesota offensive line. They sacked Sam Darnold 9 times. They made poor Slinging Sammy see ghosts. That was no bueno. That was not very nice. No. It made me look like a fool. Right? But 3-0 for the props. I don't care what the weather is. The Rams can run the football and they can get to the quarterback. Let's just pump the brakes that the Eagles are going to run roughshod through the Rams, man. And that might be a physical game. It might be a physical game. And, again, it sets up, it would be a potential hell of a matchup. Either way, the Rams and the Lions or the Eagles and the Lions. Because I think Washington has a puncher's shot but I believe that the Rams are going to be able to the Rams will find ways to get touchdowns and not field goals. Washington needs a way to always get 7. They can't exchange. They can't go 3-7, 3-7. They just can't do that with the Lions. If they do that, they're going to be in trouble. So, yeah, it's not. These games are not locks. These games are not locked. What makes you guys think the Rams can't go into Philadelphia? Because they went neutral site and they beat up a team that won, 14 games? The Rams have offensive weapons. They can move the football. The Eagles, if the Eagles, they know that the road to the NFC Championship, the road to the Super Bowl, is going to go through what? If you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, who's taking you there?
Detroit?
No. Follow with me on a Thursday, will you? Maybe you need some fresh roasted coffee, by the way. 20% off on the show notes when we do.
Hence why I've been lifting this up a whole bunch of times.
Or MAC20, Martinez and Company. No, follow me now.
Yeah.
Follow me, please. If the Eagles are going to make a run to the Super Bowl, which player is going to lead them?
Saquon.
Bingo. It's number 26.
Yep.
It's not Jalen Hurts.
Nope.
It's not Brown. It's not Smith. It's not the defense. It's offensive line, but it's number 26. They are going to run. It runs through Saquon. The legs of Saquon, the guts, the guile, the heart of Saquon. They're going to run him. If they have to run him 30 plus times on Sunday, run him 30 plus times. He can rest in the offseason. So if you're the Eagles, you better know we're going to try to run early and often against the Rams, because eventually, even if it's 3 yards here, 4 yards here, 5 yards, what is Saquon going to? He's going to punch one. He's going to break loose. He's going to rip one off. Yep. He's going to rip one off. Real quick, Salim, listening to Philly, a diehard Washington fan. I cannot believe that story. I hope you get Lake on. I want to know the validity of it. If it's true, if that's the case, I want no parts of Ben Johnson. Sometimes guys don't have an eye for talent. Don't shoot the messenger. My God. Jeez Louise. What's Jovan have to say?
Oh, hold on.
See what he's saying.
Jovan says it's a bad eye for talent, or does Johnson believe that highly in his offensive scheme that he can put any QB in and it works?
It's a very good point. There's also that perhaps there's a sense of arrogance with Johnson that he's that confident. I mean, in that type of offense that they run, imagine Jaden Daniels with those weapons in Detroit. And Washington has weapons. I'm not getting irritated at the chat.
Leave it up to Joey B.
I was irritated the other day, but not at the chat. I was irritated because you guys were hammering me with the Tomlin crap and the Darnold stuff. And after a while, I just got fed up. Like, enough is enough. I mean, I am not a hater. I do not wish ill on anyone. But part of me was like, I hope Darnold lights it up and Tomlin gets fired so I can shut people up. There it is. There it is. I mean, as soon as I say it, what do you guys have ears? You're waiting? I mean, unbelievable. Live from Philly, live getting Q set up to call knockouts. What's up, fellas? What's going on? Vince, my man, Pots and Pans. Appreciate you, brother. He's to blame. Yeah, you know what? Wow. The man. Yeah, you know what the man is? He's got a little Woody Woodpecker in there. You know what Woody Woodpecker is? He's a shit stir. He's an instigator.
He gets everybody going. Although I'm surprised, no Mickey today. Mickey must have taken the afternoon off from Washington State.
5 o'clock. You woof down and insure. You're probably up by what? 5:15?
Yeah, probably.
Kevin C. Q. I don't see Robert Saleh getting another head coaching gig. I think you're right. He's best suited to be a coordinator. With that being said, are the Jets a destination for a head coaching candidate? Oh, man. I feel as though we had this conversation. Like, the Jets, the Cowboys, Chicago, the Raiders. If you take the Jets job, Are you taking it under the guise that Aaron Rodgers all right, do the Jets want Aaron Rodgers back, number one? I'll ask you that.
No.
Okay. So you believe the Jets have a quarterback under center.
Yeah.
Okay. So now again, you don't have a quarterback in place. GM, head coach. That's a big market in New York. That's a big. Who wants to take on that job? Who wants to take on that job of knowing that you're dealing with an owner that is getting older and, quite frankly, is saying sometimes you're like, you're dealing with London, you're dealing with your buddies over there. I mean, I think it's the domino effect. That's what I think. I think Aaron Rodgers is waiting to see who the next head coach and GM will be for the New York Jets.
Yeah, but okay. But the bad part is after he said that it was only going to take him a few days or the max 1 week, which we're already past that he was going to make up his mind. And then the irritating factor becomes when these guys, no different what TB12 used to do, was wait until like the AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, take the spotlight away from the teams that are in it because now it's all about me. Or he waits until Super Bowl week, or he decides to drop it an hour before kickoff so that everybody turns their attention away from the Super Bowl and talk nothing but Aaron Rodgers. To me, personally, just tell him no one. Do I believe he's a freaking Hall of Famer? No, that's just my valued opinion.
Whoa. Angel. You don't believe Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer?
Nope. But he is, unfortunately.
Angel, I mean, do you need Advil, Tylenol? Like, do you have a fever today? I can't allow you to come on your network. I can't allow you to come on my show where my credibility is at stake. And you turn around and say that? I can't allow it. Take it back right now. Take it back.
Okay. I'll take it back for a second, but I'm going to bring it back up again because my thing is he's going to, everybody knows he's going to be. I mean, that's a freaking no-brainer. First time, I don't think so.
Listen, stop. Because now I'm not getting agitated at the commenters. I'm starting to get agitated at you. I didn't get topped off. I didn't get freshened up. I'm already cranky. So just stop. I got Vince coming in. He wants to hear the hater comments. Forget Aaron Rodgers, the Hall of Famer right now.
Okay.
You and I will agree with one thing. He tends to hold hostages, right? Franchises hostage.
Correct.
Right? He did it with Green Bay. He did it last year with the Jets. He did it when he got injured.
Right.
I'm going to have the greatest comebacks. He teased the fan base in December because he wanted to sprinkle some whale sperm on his tendon. Said he was going to come back. We knew no doctor was going to turn around and allow. Yeah, I'm triggered. There's no doctor was going to allow to have him come out and play anymore. That would have been malpractice. So in that regard, I hate that he does that. He's absolutely friggin' flaky in that regard. He's a selfish me quarterback. That's the problem. If you're Aaron Rodgers, make up your friggin' damn mind. Are you going to come back or are you not going to come back? Because you know what? Vince, who believes I have hater comments all over the stuff with his Pittsburgh Steelers. You want me to get triggered? I hope Rodgers signs a 3 friggin' year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go ahead. There's your quarterback, Vince. There's your quarterback next year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Him and Tomlin, go be happy together. So every time Aaron Rodgers can turn around and tell friggin' Tomlin how to run his offense, you come back to me during the season and let's have that conversation. Rodgers makes a habit of holding franchises hostage. And it's been the Packers, he did it. He was dicking around deciding what he was going to do, not wanting to mentor Love. Why? Because Favre didn't want to do it to him. And then you saw Rodgers play Dallas on a Thursday night meaningless football game. And all I remember is everyone talking about how he can slide. He can slide to his left and he can slide to his right. Oh, he's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. He is. No question asked. But at this stage of his game, he cannot dictate what he wants to do. He can't. I don't want to hear this. He's earned the right. No, he hasn't, because he came in and he wrecked the Jets franchise. He wrecked the Jets franchise. He screwed the Jets franchise. He set him back. He did him a disservice. He fibbed. He lied. He BS'd him. That's exactly what he did. Get me my guy. Get me Hackett. Get me Lazard. Get me Adams. And what happens? You don't even win games. You look like a shell of yourself. Get out already. I'm tired of Aaron Rodgers. Either make up your friggin' mind whether you want to come back, but you do not have to wait to see what the Jets are going to do. You don't.
Yep.
Your mind. If that's the case, just say, you know what? I'm going to explore other options. Good luck, Jets. I'm glad I friggin' screwed you guys and I blew up the franchise. Good. Enjoy it.
And that's exactly what it's going to be in.
Yeah, 6650. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's, by the way, Jerry in Rhode Island says, hey, guys, Rodgers will make it, but he's not top echelon. So it would just.
He's a Hall of Famer. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I did poo-poo on you, Angel.
No, but it.
What do you got? Ayahuasca down there?
No. No, but it's the same way. Just let him know you're not. I don't think he did ruin the Jets. Number one, because you're right. As far as whether it's the Giants or the Jets, everybody knows New York is like the top destination where a lot of coaches, a lot of players want to go to. We understand and we get that. Now it comes down to whether if the Jets are super serious, then they would tell Rodgers, listen, contract's done, you're done. What the hell's going on here? What are we doing? Are you done so we can figure out what we're going to do? No.
That's the problem. It goes back to the massive ego.
Right.
Like you can't go up there after you lose a game and talk about how you just need to focus on the game or how your teammates or players need to be locked in when every week you're going on McAfee, where you're more concerned about Johnson & Johnson and COVID or the shot or no shot or going into a cave or ayahuasca or whale sperm or, politics. Like you can't, someone who, let's just say, for instance, ready? Okay, we commit to this. So we're on every day. We're committing. We're building content. We're building a network. We're doing what we need to do. And we have other outside duties. We have jobs. I got the broadcasting, the other shows, the podcasting. You're doing the network. You've got jobs. You got other gigs going on. Okay, but we're still all in. We're all invested. So if we're half-assed about it, I have, or if someone wants to come on board and we see that they're not all in, you have no right then to sit there and say, well, we need team players to be all in. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I don't want to hear that garbage. And that's what a guy like Aaron Rodgers does. He has no friggin' right to stand up there after losses and then start to question his teammates. He threw Mike Williams under the bus.
Yep.
He basically threw the GM and the head coach under the bus. Talking about Robert Saleh and the cadence. And then walking back to comments, and then the coach has to walk back to comments, a fear of Aaron Rodgers. Like, seriously, come on. That's why I don't want to play for an owner like that. I don't want to be a coach for an owner like that who doesn't pull this guy in and say, yo, man, shut up. Let the coach and you play. I'm all for having an opinion. I'm all for going up there in a press conference and talking about the game. But what rubs me the wrong way is when you have players come out and they call out their teammates or they're questioning effort. When you watch the film and they're not giving you anything, you have no right then to question your teammate. You have no right to question the coaching staff. You don't. But
Correct.
This passive-aggressive nonsense. This dude had 4 effing offensive snaps. His highlight last year was running through the tunnel with the American flag. That was it. That was it. He had a cup of coffee with the Jets. He had a moment or two with the Jets this season. But it's just like Favre. When you look at the history of the Jets, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a blurb. Remember when the Jets put all their eggs in one basket for Aaron Rodgers and it blew up in their face? Thank God they were able to finally win a Super Bowl in 2056. Like, it's a blurb. He's a blimp on the Jets' radar when you talk about the franchise. It will historically go down as one of the worst moves in franchise history, and it might go down as one of the worst moves in NFL history because of the expectation. All I friggin' heard, and you remember, I came on the air, I came on Back Your Play, I was doing my YouTube Live, I was screaming at the top of my lungs for the Jets to stay away from Aaron Rodgers. I said, go after Lamar Jackson. Break the bank. I still have that video up there that had hundreds of thousands of views and people were crushing me. Where are you now? Where are you now? Because it's been a colossal failure. So if you're Rodgers, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Decide what you're going to do. And if you don't want to move on with the Jets, then you let them know. Because I feel he's waiting to see who the next head coach and the GM is. And that's BS. That's BS. If you want to be a free agent, if you want to go sign with Pittsburgh, go sign with Pittsburgh. The Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have any quarterbacks under contract. So you want a landing spot, go there. Go to Pittsburgh and go to Tomlin. Go to the Giants and go to New York, whatever. I would be pissed off because at this stage, this guy, I don't believe he can play anymore.
He can't, but that's another point too, though. Does he want to go to Pittsburgh just because Devontae Adams said he would 100%?
That's another thing. It's like, what are we doing? NBA super team crap now?
Yep.
Really? So then all of a sudden they look around and Adams is like, hey, guess what? Pickens is kind of a dog. Hey, let's go get Lazard or let's go trade for this guy. Like, you're not making decisions. You are the player. I can run it by you, but at the end of the day, you play, the coach coaches, and the GM manages the team. I don't want to hear this while he's earned. It's the NBA is such a player-driven league. That's why LeBron was able to get his son drafted.
Yep, but I can't.
Yeah, it's a player-driven league. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't stand that either. When it's like, well, he deserves this. You don't deserve a damn thing. You go out there and work just like everybody else. You go out there, you put in the work, and you end up being just fine. And by the way, speaking of, Gas Pump Guy joins us here live on the phone line. Gas Pump Guy, how are you?
What's up, my man? How you guys doing?
I'm good. Although I think you're going to get Rich here fired up, so fire away.
Hey, no, I'm not trying to get anybody fired up or anything like that. I just want to know if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Giants, is Rich going to fall off the face of this earth?
Well, hold on. I will answer that. But first, admit to me that you had what kind of cell phone? What you have? Verizon, you have AT&T, you have Sprint. What's your carrier?
Well, I got two. I got a burner and I got a regular phone. No, I'm just
hold on. Time out. Hold on. Momentum. Mira. You're going to come on the air and tell us live in front of a viewing audience with mass eyeballs you have a burner phone? Like that leads me to believe something going on down there in Tampa. Maybe I don't want to know. But now I was wondering then if that's the problem. Well, hold on a second, because maybe I thought there was an issue with the reception because after the Bucs loss and Baker, I didn't hear from you.
Yeah, I know, and I am not a very good fan for not doing that, but I had some personal stuff I had to take care of, so you can.
I never question that. If they lose 4 out of 5 to start the season and you come on with the personal stuff for a couple weeks, then I'm going to have to call you out. But now that I know you have a burner, now I'm starting to question. You might be a guy who can get me things.
No, I just wanted to call and harass you guys a little bit.
No. Listen. No, I love it, bro. No, I appreciate it, man. I always love the banter. I don't think Rodgers is going to go to the Giants. I don't. I think at this point, I think Aaron Rodgers took his last snap. I think he's done.
Oh yeah, for sure. I seen somewhere on Twitter, I don't remember where it was, but I seen there was something on there that said Aaron Rodgers accepted a contract for 12 years to the Steelers, and after he's done playing football, he's going to take over head coaching, and then all the way at the end it said this is fake.
Yeah, you can't
I was like, dang it, I clicked on it and it got me.
Yeah, right. They probably wanted your credit card number after you clicked on that link. Now, I'll tell you, I think Rodgers is done, and I think Deshaun Watson will never take another snap in the NFL too. I think he's done.
I think after all that stuff that came out, he should have been gone a long time ago. How do you let a POS play football and with all that allegations, even if they are allegations, I mean, you really can't take that risk.
And they gave him all that money guaranteed. No, you're going to see, listen, the quarterback position is such a fluid position in the NFL. I think if Rodgers decides he's going to play another season or two, wherever it is, the team, they understand exactly what they're getting. And maybe they believe they can turn around. And nothing's wrong with having a burner. See, Vince comes in and no, there's nothing wrong. Listen, when someone's like, yeah, man, go and pay cash, get the burner, it just reminds me of some of the Netflix shows that I'm watching. Back in the day, we had the beeper, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sure did.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know, you get
At the
that
beeper, the Zach
411.
Morris phone.
You get that 411. You're making that late trek. That's all we have to say.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
911, the 411.
411 or 69. Either way, I'm getting out.
Get him off the air. Get him off the air.
I'll talk to you guys later. I just
All
wanted
right,
to chime
brother.
in for a little bit, man. I love you
brother.
guys.
All right, love you too there, GBG.
Thank
All
you.
right, see you.
Say it.
Hey, listen, the burner. You know, it's funny too with the beeper. You always had to make sure you were near. Like you get the beep, and the first thing is you got to get to a payphone.
Payphone. Yep.
And people are getting a little sensitive today. Wow, unbelievable. I mean, geez. I mean, are we really? I guess my comments aren't working today either. You know, I tell you, you guys are saying that I'm a little triggered and cranky and testy. Madman needs a little fresh cup of fresh roasted coffee.
Well, first of all, I've been waiting since last week for a Madman joke.
Now you can see right away. We call them out and they come back with the joke and stuff. Got busy with work. Just bad. That's juice. That's excuses. Look, the beeper was great, but what screwed you is when you get beeped and you're driving around trying to find a payphone.
Yep.
I think I might have found the last payphone in South Jersey.
Really?
Yes, it was
Where?
on Route 70, going 70 west, going towards Philly, past like the Cherry Hill area. There's a closed down gas station, and I saw a payphone there. I mean, do they have payphones down in Tampa?
So I ran into one like some months ago, and it still worked, but believe it or not, which is I thought it was pretty nice, at least for people to understand the way it worked. Because it used to be nickel, dime, quarter for those who remember when it used to have the 3 different slots, and then they were like, "Screw it, we're getting rid of the nickel and dimes. We're just going to go with the quarters." But how is it? And this is where it makes me end up laughing.
Yeah.
Is that how in the world do we never have a problem going to a public phone, picking it up, and putting it to your ear and talking? Yet, if you go somewhere and someone says, "Hey, by the way, can you borrow your phone for a second?" and it's the yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I don't want to put this close to my face. It cracks me up with where I'm pretty sure on a.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Right, but it didn't kill us. It didn't kill us, but yet people had no problem picking up that payphone. I used to like the ones when you used to walk by the payphone and it would ring. You pick it up like,
listen, not to go too far down the rabbit hole, but those payphones, you want to talk about germs? We know we talk about the A, the B, and the C team. From what I hear from the older generation, the older crowd, there were certain areas where you can go and the door opens up. You know exactly. I guarantee you, Penguin AZ, and I guarantee you, friggin' Joey know exactly what I'm talking about. You know the. Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I can tell you two things. Never would step into a place like that. That's number one, because God knows what the hell. What is she friggin'? Do you hear her?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead. Gasman guy says I had seen one. I think it was on the East Coast, like Palm Beach or something. He said as far as the payphone, but yeah. The other thing you were talking about.
Well, yeah. So two things, and I know sometimes we get the younger audience. Okay. I'm not walking in there because it's almost like the bar at 3 p.m. where stuff is sticking to your feet. That's number one. The second thing is I can't even imagine touching a phone. The C team talk again.
Yeah.
Yes, the C team talk, because all we're saying is, and I've never frequented, but I've heard stories about those places where it's stick the quarter in and and then you there's no way that phone is coming absolutely near me. I would actually, Joey, believe it or not, I would actually show ridiculous amount of heart where I would prefer a lap dance by the C team. How about that? Instead of going into one of those places, Daytona in 89. No, No, see teams in 89 spring break scary. We're talking quarters. I knew it. I knew the listening audience, just the debacle of our listeners. I know you guys are out there are probably laughing your asses off right now because you probably have frequented those places. And I hold no judgment. All I'm saying is I would never put this to my ear. That's it.
What was the one on
Well, I just said I never been, and you're asking me.
No. I'm saying when you would drive by, remember when it had the circles down there and when you go to 38 or 38 and 70, if you're coming off the Ben Franklin Bridge, if you're coming off the Ben Franklin Bridge and you were either heading to 38 and 70, but not initially when you came off the bridge, a ways down, you would come up to the circle and you can either take the overpass if you're heading towards 38 or you went around the roundabout in order to keep going where you were going.
Are we talking Gentleman's Club or are we talking?
Yeah, that one. It was like in black and white. It was on the right-hand side.
Angel.
I'm trying to remember the freaking name, but
all I can tell you is the back in the day, which was the Gentleman's Club that we went to when we were 17, 18, 19 was the White House. Mount Ephraim, the White House. You got a little Coke or Pepsi and you got a little bag of popcorn and you walked in with $20 and you were good for the entire night. That's it. That's all I can tell you. Those are. I mean,
hold on. Let me get the dumb button just in case you need it.
No. I'm just looking at some of my buddies are texting and they're like, quit while you're ahead, man. No, I'm just saying that those are the places that I recall. I remember I went to the White House with my buddy. It was probably our junior year in high school. And we were like, you know what? We're just going to play hooky. And I think we had $15 between us. Now, mind you, it was $5 to get in. So, we're scrambling over $5 extra. And that was not good. You can't negotiate. Passing cheerleaders now, guys, want me to send a hello for you. Oh, wow. Look at this. Joey's like, what's his name on in The Godfather 2? Johnny Ola. Johnny Ola knows these places like the back of his hand. Old man Roth would never go to a place like this.
Sure wouldn't.
Lookers in Elizabeth, New Jersey. I only get, so Angel and I were having this conversation today, right? We won't get into the crux of it, but for some reason, the lot lizard term came and my buddies told me that term years ago. And I was like, I had no idea what it was. And they're like, you don't know what it is? Now I know. Like when I have to go to Philly and do some of these broadcasts in South Philly, like 2300 off Swanson or like, Philly Live, like, let me tell you, or like if we have to do a fight going to like past Essington. And I'll say this, ridiculous heart. It doesn't matter if it's 20 degrees out, 106, just doing what you need to do to get by. Yep. I'm getting hammered right now. You know what? We'll bring it back to the NFL talk. Quick timeout, 727-858-6650. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey. Why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you.
Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Download the Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game app and tell your friends that Florida has a new leader in digital sports radio.
727-858-6650. Sergeant Delaware chiming in. Marcus chiming in as well. Sarge is dying. Q, it sounds like you were panicking back in the day trying to find a payphone. Marcus chimes in. Q, everyone knows you had a burner. Don't lie.
By the way, did we just have a Kiki appearance?
Oh, did she pop in?
Yeah.
She'll do that sometimes. She'll do that sometimes. Yeah, oh my God. It's so cold, but like I have to understand the cold doesn't bother the dog as much as it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
I got to break out of the habit of, come on, go potty, go potty, go potty. It's not on my time. But she likes the snow. She definitely was enjoying the snow. That was a good thing. But now she has this new thing where, and I thought I sent you the video where for some reason, whether she goes one or two, whenever she's done, she feels like lighter on her little paws. She just rips around in circles. And then finally just will plop right on the grass. And then I'm like, all right, let's go. That's it. But when it's cold like this, you would think it tires them out. So I try to run up and down with her and get her a little tired. And no, it's not happening. But you notice she barked at 5. We fed her. And now all of a sudden, she's going to get her oversized. She's got a bone that it literally looks like the pterodactyl bone that they carry in Flintstones. So, yeah, it's a pretty big bone. Look at that. Q knows. We know you know Q. Absolutely not, man. Wait, what is that? There was a place. Hold on. Go to Madman's comment. What a little sneakiness. What's going on over here? What is that? There was a place called what?
A Night on Broad. He says, that's all I'll say. I don't remember that.
Oh, I gave NBA plays, by the way, Vince. Chiming in. I gave NBA plays last night, but you guys don't want to take them. What do you want me to? That's what we're doing right now. Since you're so good at NFL picks, where's the NBA moneymakers? Do I sense a weak spot? No. I will give you 3 plays right now. This will be our BYP edition. I'll give you 3 NBA plays right now, powered by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. 20% off your first purchase. I'm going to give you the Clippers on the road tonight, laying 7.5. And see, I know it's going to happen. Tomorrow, when I'm 0 for 3, you guys are going to rip me to shreds, but that's okay. I will take the shrapnel. Because what did we learn about myself the other day? I run towards the chaos, where others
run away.
Thank you. So, yes. Clippers laying 7.5. Give me the total in the Rockets and the Kings, which is 223. And for my third pick, the upstart Detroit Pistons at home, laying 1.5 over Indianapolis. Guys get a little too cocky. See, my picks for the NFL, if if you're a fan of the team and my picks don't align with your picks or your fanism, this is what happens. You guys come out of the woodwork. Tommy chimes in. A lot of parking meters in Florida.
All right. Wait, where did that come from? That took about something from left field.
Oh, that is from Donnie Brasco.
Oh, okay. All right.
With Bruno Kirby. Remember the scene in the bar? A lot of parking meters in Florida.
Yeah. No, listen, I just thought maybe randomly.
Oh, wait, real quick. So there was a moment where I thought The Godfather 4 was a legit trailer. And I also saw a remake for Scarface.
Jeez. Oh, no.
But obviously, because it was a hail of bullets, and even if Pacino comes back to be Tony Montana, you can't lose your accent. You just can't. You can't. You cannot lose your accent. Like, my uncle was born in Cuba. He was born in Havana. His accent is not going away. I mean, I call him Babalu for a reason. He sounds like Ricky Ricardo. So, like, I knew it was a fake trailer. So that got me discouraged. But then I saw this, because now everything's AI generated, for Godfather 4. And I'm like, Stallone? Sly? Okay, we got something. Well, he goes on IG, laugh out loud. There's no effing way I've made this movie.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I mean, you have to stop after a while, right? With some of these movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. I mean, I was like 5 when Spark. That's a cult classic.
It is.
There are movies that when they come out at first, you're like, you know, like Reservoir Dogs, which was made on a shoestring budget. Swingers, which was made on a very shoestring budget. You know, where they're cult classics. You know, I'll tell you what was on the other day. Friggin', I love them. Boys in the Hood, unbelievable.
Oh
movie.
yeah, it's a good movie.
Ah, fantastic movie.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic movie. I mean, Fishburne was just, you know, a great cast, very good movie. Juice, you ever see Juice?
Yep, Juice is good.
The original Q.
You're just local.
Juice?
Yeah.
Local what? Local in Philly?
No. When he wanted to be the DJ in Juice. Remember when what's his face? When he
Q.
was
You're talking about Q.
Yeah, but when Queen Latifah, he went to go be the DJ.
Oh, yes. That was filmed in Florida?
What?
We keep saying it's local.
No. That's what Queen Latifah kept, when he wanted to be a DJ, she kept saying to him, "You're just local."
Yes. When they had the spinoff, yeah. That was a good movie, man. Oh, I'll tell you, Omar Epps. You know, Tupac, for as great as an artist he was, Tupac was a really good actor. Did you ever see what was the movie he was with Belushi's brother? Oh man, it's one of my favorites too. It was a cheesy movie, but I really liked it. Damn, what was that movie called? Oh man. He was with Belushi, and they were the corrupt cops.
That one I may have watched, only because I think he was so freaking good in Juice that anything else would probably be like.
You know what else he was great in?
What's that?
Gang related. Good call. Thank you. You ever see the movie that has the greatest all time soundtrack, Above the Rim?
Jeez. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm going to get flagged right now by YouTube, but hold on a second.
All right. By the
Hold
way,
on, wait for it. Hold on. Wait for it. Let me get rid of this, 57 second friggin' commercial. Here it is. I'm about to get flagged.
Okay. Well, good thing you're about to get flagged because the rest of us can't hear it.
Are you kidding? Are you serious?
Yeah. No, I'm waiting for it. You're bouncing.
Bound up. Oh, you guys can't hear any of that.
Oh,
Oh,
you
man.
couldn't hear it.
So I'm just sitting here doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a whoopsies.
Oh, man. I don't understand why you guys can't hear. It should be, you know why? Because probably my mic.
Could have been. Yep.
Then you can't hear me. So if I take the mic out, you should be able to hear, right? Because it comes right through the Mac.
But if you take the mic out, then we're gonna have other problems. So
No. Let's hold on. We can investigate this for a moment.
Right.
All right, hold on. So if I talk and you don't hear me, just, thumbs up. If you can't hear me, ready?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
No. The thumbs up. The thumbs up is designed if you can't hear me.
Yeah, but I could still hear you without the mic plugged in. The only thing
really?
was,
Why can't you hear regulators, man?
and well, again, good thing you could hear, but the rest of us couldn't. Well, I can still hear you without the mic plugged in, but you got to remember, then it sounds like you're actually on your laptop.
I got guns to my head. Think I'm going down. I can't believe it's happened in my own town. If I had wings, I would fly. Let me contemplate.
By the way, as you're dancing along, Gasping Guy says,
yeah, man. I'll tell you what, the microphone early to start got me thrown off. I'm very confused. It's like when the beeper went off and I couldn't find a payphone. Oh my God, that's horrible. You get beeped and you got to answer it.
Yeah.
If you're going out with a girl back in the day and you get beeped, you have like a 15-minute window to find a friggin' payphone. If not, that's it.
Yeah, you weren't getting it, or you get the special messages on the beeper, different numbers.
Yeah,
that's the way it was. But by the way, two things. Gasping Guy says, talking about an old movie. What about Carlito's Way? That's a great movie. I agree there.
One of my all-time favorites, Carlito Way. Carlito.
Carlito Jerry from Rhode Island says, "Q, can I get some of whatever you're drinking?"
Jerry, listen, it's fresh roasted coffee. There's absolutely nothing in this coffee except fresh roasted coffee, which, oh, by the way, is the official coffee drink of the Drive with you. I had like 100 and something odd people. They were checking out the link, purchasing. This is what we want, buying fresh roasted coffee, because we know in the winter months, if you need something warm or something to keep you hot, why not? Fresh roasted coffee, dark roast, hazelnut, vanilla. You're good.
Yeah.
And if you're out there, fresh roasted coffee.
Yeah. BYP 20.
We don't do that. We are very, what's the word I'm looking for? I am very aware of what goes in the body. Very aware. Yeah.
So at this time of the year, we don't have as much whey in the body as we do in the summer.
You're an asshole. We had a whey protein shake. Yes, we had.
I just put it out there.
It's funny when I do the fights, like they laugh because I come with like broiled chicken, Greek yogurt, my fruit, bananas. This is not whey, but it's like a detox drink. We wolf down one of these suckers every day.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So right now it's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 6 times a day I'm eating.
6 times?
Every 2 to 3 hours. Yep. Have the whey, work, whey with veggies, egg whites, veggies, chicken with veggies, a little scoop peanut butter, maybe on some rice cakes.
Yeah.
Chop up some fruit, and then chicken, again, or whey, or egg whites with a little broccoli, make a little Spanish omelet. But in the night, there's it's called casein. So it's like a powder that's a slow digestive. So I put that in a little tray and stir it up, and it's almost like cake mix. Tastes like shit. but I eat that and then I repeat along with the whey. And the one thing I hate, so I like to have cream in my coffee. I don't need to see the comments, by the way. I like to have cream in my coffee.
Yeah.
But I've been now trying to take it just regular, just black with no cream.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it. I'm not even looking to my left to see the comments anymore. I just gave up on that because I know we have a warped listening audience.
Yep. By the way, have you seen on, I know every once in a while we talk about the different flicks on Netflix, but there's one where the guy says he wants to kind of like live forever. He does an absurd amount of crap. Just I'm like, dude, really?
I got nervous watching the trailer.
Yeah.
It gave me anxiety watching how he gets, because you know what it reminded me of? American Psycho.
Good point. Good
right?
point.
How like Patrick Bateman gets up and he exfoliates and then he decides to use certain lotions and then the mask and then I can't imagine how much that guy's spending a day. And you know what's going to happen as soon as filming's done? This poor jerk off's going to go outside and get hit by
all that healthy nonsense for nothing.
That's horrible, man. That's horrible. I mean, listen, you get to a certain point, you want to eat whatever you want to eat. But did you see Bob Uecker passed away?
Yeah. Yep. That sucks. That you talk about an icon. That is a major, major icon. And then they just blew it off like, it's just Bob Uecker.
No. Listen, he got the flowers today. Yeah. How do you not love Bob Uecker? I mean, Bob Uecker, every line that he was involved in Major League was priceless, but I think one of the most underrated. So when he used to do a commercial back in the day, must be in the front row, like the Bud Light commercials, right? I thought one of the most underrated lines ever in Major League is when the Yankees went to the bullpen and they brought out the guy, and Bob Uecker turns around and he's like, he once threw at his kid at a father and son game. He was 90 years old.
Yeah. Lived a good life.
A Hall of Fame broadcaster, man. Are you kidding me? Hall of Fame broadcaster. Remember the show he was on back in the day? The TV show? Wow. You don't remember, do you?
No.
Mr. Belvedere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That show ran for 5 years.
They're pulling in the ratings at a time. You can freaking do it. But have you, by the way, speaking of Bob Uecker and coaching, have you seen the one guy who obviously he's a dad, coaches a little league team, and basically tells these kids, like, he talks to them like they're adults. Like, why did he show up? Why did you show up today's game? Everybody else is getting hit. So I don't know.
Video?
Yeah, I would have to find it. Maybe I'll find it for tomorrow's show. But he walks up to the mound like every single kid. He gets on them, especially like his pitchers. They'll tell him like, "Why did you show up today?" I mean, you have better to do.
No, I don't need that crap.
No, but so the way he says it, it's not like he doesn't do it like in a derogatory way. It's just funny because the kids kind of like shrug their shoulders, like, "What would you like me to do?" But
really?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not like he's berating them, like, making them feel like crap and the parents are ready to, to kick him in the shins or something. But he's I had to find a clip to send it to you.
Well, I'm almost done season 2. There's only 2 seasons. I started a new Netflix series.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Which one?
Barifi Fosso. A fake profile.
Oh, jeez. I gotta think. I gotta ask my lady.
It's I think it's shot in Cartagena.
Oh yeah.
But let me just say the cast, the women, the cast.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, they're just. I mean, it's so outlandish, the plot. It really it's just hilariously bad, but I'm in, man.
We started watching one.
Yeah.
We picked up on one yesterday. Oh, hold on. Hang on. This is Jerry from Rhode Island comes in and he says, best thing I remember about Uecker is he was talking about how proud he was at his kid's first Little League game. He made an error and struck out 3 times, just like his dad.
That's great, Jerry. He told a story. I think he told a story once or he had this comment where he said, "I was voted minor league player of the year 2 years in a row, but I was already in the majors." Yes, the old Miller Lite commercials. Absolutely. Hey, knock it off. Stop eating that. They were classic. Yeah. I mean, he lived a very, very long life. But yeah, definitely check out Fake Profile. It's a little, I couldn't get into Dexter Original Sin. I couldn't. I have too many shows I need to. I start to watch another one. I hate when I start to watch them and I'm like 2 or 3 in, and I'm like, oh man, do I have to finish this garbage?
Whatever.
Well, because I'm putting in the time and the effort. Like, what do I do?
We had watched one yesterday. We just started watching it at Clear Blue, and it's done overseas across the pond, and it's all English characters. But the one lady's supposed to be a detective with the police department. Maybe England. I have no idea what you guys do. Obviously, you don't carry weapons of any sort whatsoever. But at one point, this kid just randomly shows up at a detective house, like in her flat, because they don't call it apartments over there. So he shows up in her flat.
Correct, flats.
Yeah. Runs her all inside a flat, takes off, goes down the street, catches up with the kid, and basically like, "What are you doing in my flat?" And the kid was like, "I asked you for help, and you weren't there to help me. So I had to come and see what was the connection between you and the other guy that was," and she's like arguing with this kid, like, "Oh, okay, you're a detective. And it hasn't dawned upon you that this kid was rummaging around your flat, but you want to have an argument and then walk away." And then she tells him, "Oh, by the way, don't come back to my flat again."
So
What's
bad
the
acting,
2 days later?
Bad acting.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's freaking horrible.
Yeah.
Bad part is, it's so horrible, you want to stay around and see what's going on at the end.
Did you see The Other Side of the Tracks?
No.
I like that show. I like that.
Got released.
I think it's the other. Is it called The Other? Yeah, The Other Side of the Tracks. It's filmed in Spain. Or I'm sorry, Wrong Side of the Tracks.
Oh, okay.
Wrong Side of the Tracks.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't be so dismissive when I'm giving you shows.
No.
Wrong Side of the Tracks.
Joey B says Netflix, Black Dub's very good. I don't think I watched that one yet.
No, I finished A Lioness. Fantastic. I might try. Yeah, I have to catch up on 1923. Huh?
Which one?
Is it 1923 with Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, is it?
Yeah, 1923, right?
Yeah.
1923. Not 1924. That would kind of sound foolish. 1923, 2 seasons. Yeah, I got to catch up on that. Because sometimes you got to wait until they're back on demand.
Yeah.
The way they're doing it now with Paramount or Paramount Plus. So, but anyway.
Hang on. Since we're talking about him.
Harrison Ford or Bob Uecker?
Bob Uecker.
Ball 4, ball 8. Just a bit outside. Serrano's going to need a rocket up his ass to catch that one.
All right, maybe I wasn't the greatest player of all time, but fans, they forgive and forget. When I go in here, they'll be buying me my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. You, Bob Uecker? Yeah, how you doing? These fans, I love them. They know us ex-big leaguers drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Well, can't keep the gang waiting. The fans are always joking.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Oh, man, that's fantastic. Must be in the front row. Anytime you go to a game and you're like, hey, where am I sitting? Right there. You're like, hey, it must be in the front row.
Yeah.
All right, I know we got to start wrapping it up on a Thursday. Tomorrow, Football Friday. What the frig, Football Friday edition. We will preview all the divisional matchups. We'll get you caught up to speed with the rumor mill from a coaching standpoint. Any news breaks on Belichick, we will certainly have it as well. We'll do the picks. We'll mix in a little NBA. I think full show tomorrow. Lake Lewis is going to join us. Jovan Alford's going to join us as well. I don't know if we're going to try to squeeze on Lloyd Vance, but we'll do a heavy Football Friday, your picks, your thoughts. We'll give you some props, some plays, some predictions. Pete, we'll get you situated, starting you off with Pete Shepard Show 7 to 10. Angel will be back in the saddle tomorrow, correct?
T.
That would be 10 to 12, Martinez and company. And of course, you guys out there on the text message board calling in 727-858. Always chiming in, making us laugh. Doesn't matter where you're calling from. Doesn't matter where you're texting from, what you're commenting in. We always enjoy hearing from you. You guys make the 2 hours absolutely fly by. Special thanks to our good friends over at Zen Auto Concepts, Play It Again Sports, and Fresh Roasted Coffee for the no longer incredible shrinking Hermano. Angel Martinez, I'm Rich Quinones. Download the app. Check us out online, SR1029 FM The Game. And as I mentioned, you got Pete, you got Angel, you got myself on a very busy Football Friday edition right here on Coastal Sports Network. Until then, have a good Sports Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 4. Back in the saddle. Be safe, be sound. Hasta luego, buen día.